Most traders think they're failing because they haven't found the right strategy yet. They believe if they could just learn one more indicator, watch one more course, or copy the right setup, everything would click. That's not why 90% of traders never make it. After years of full-time trading and working with thousands of traders in my community, I can tell you the actual reason. You're focused on the wrong thing entirely, and it's keeping you trapped in a cycle you don't even realize you're in. The traders who consistently pull payouts aren't smarter than you, and they don't have access to better information. They've just accepted that profitability isn't a destination you arrive at. It's an identity you step into by changing how you approach every single day. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the 5 reasons traders actually fail and the exact habits you need to build to escape this cycle. By the end, you'll understand why your P&L has been lying to you about whether you're improving and what you should be measuring instead. Welcome to Trader's Bible, the quiet room for market mastery. Let's get into it. So let's start with the first reason traders fail. And this is going to be uncomfortable because you've probably been operating under this assumption for months or even years. You don't have a real edge. And I'm not talking about whether you know what a fair value gap is or whether you can spot support and resistance. I'm talking about a statistical advantage that you can actually articulate and have built data on yourself. Most traders are out here copying Discord alerts, watching someone live trade, and thinking that's going to translate into their own success. I did this when I first started. I would join communities, watch people take trades, and I had zero intention of actually learning. I just wanted to copy someone's entry and make money. And it never worked because I didn't understand the decisions I was making or why I should make them in the first place. Here's what actually happens. You see someone post a winning trade, you try to replicate it, and maybe you get lucky once or twice. But when the market shifts and you're sitting there alone in front of the charts, you freeze. Because you never built the foundation. You never learned to read price action like a language. An edge isn't something you download from someone else. It's something you develop through repetition until you can recognize it without thinking. For me, that's ICT concepts, my forever model, the way I read liquidity, fair value gaps, session highs and lows. Every single day I come into the market looking for the exact same thing because I've seen it work over and over. I don't chase the next shiny object because some guy made 5 figures on a different strategy. That's like planting a seed, watering it for a week, then ripping it out to plant it somewhere else and wondering why nothing grows. If you can't explain why your approach works, if you can't articulate the reasoning behind your setups, you don't have an edge. You're just gambling and hoping the market validates you. Which brings me to the second reason, and this is the trap that keeps most traders stuck longer than anything else. You're using your P&L as proof that you're doing something right, and that is completely false. A green P&L doesn't mean you have skill. I could break every rule in my system, flip a coin, throw 50 contracts on NQ shorts, and make money. Does that mean I did something good? Does that mean it's going to work long term? Absolutely not. But here's what happens with new traders. They're looking for validation. And the validation comes in the form of a green number on the screen. It's like your mom telling you, "Good job, son." That's what a winning trade feels like in your brain. You're desperate to prove to yourself that all this time and effort wasn't wasted, so you start basing your entire self-worth on whether the market gave you money that day. And that's when the cycle starts. You FOMO into trades that aren't setups. You move your stops. You overtrade because you need that validation hit. You're not trading your system anymore. You're trading your emotional need to feel successful. And the worst part is, you can do everything right and still lose money. You can also do everything wrong and make money. What matters is the longevity. If you repeat the same process over 100 trades, will you be profitable? That's the only question that matters. So stop looking at your P&L to validate whether you're improving. Look at your habits instead. Did you follow your plan? Yes or no? That's what determines if it was a good trade. Because your habits are what's actually going to make you money over time. Not one lucky winning day that the market can take back from you in 48 hours. Now here's something nobody talks about, and this is probably the biggest invisible weight holding you back. You're carrying all your past mistakes like a ladder you have to climb before you can be profitable. Every blown account, every revenge trade, every time you broke your rules, you're replaying that in your mind every single day thinking you have to somehow work through all of that before you deserve success. And that weight is crushing you. It's making you desperate. It's making you see the market through a distorted lens because you're not trading current price action. You're trading your trauma. I've seen this with thousands of traders. They sit down in front of the charts, and they're already defeated because they're thinking about the 30 mistakes they made last month, instead of focusing on what's in front of them right now. So here's what you need to do, and this is critical. Forgive yourself. Start at ground zero today. You are not your past decisions. You are not defined by the accounts you've blown or the trades you've messed up. Profitability is not some mountain you have to climb to prove you've paid your dues. It's an identity you step into immediately by choosing to act like a professional right now. Not tomorrow. Not after you fix yourself. Right now. Because as long as you're viewing yourself as someone who's not profitable yet, you're going to keep acting like someone who's not profitable. And that becomes a self-fulfilling cycle you can't escape until you consciously decide to break it. And that leads directly into the fourth reason traders fail. They treat this like a lottery ticket instead of a skill that requires years of boring, unglamorous work. You want to get paid like a doctor, but you don't want to go through medical school. You want to perform like Michael Jordan, but you don't want to put in the repetitions on free throws and passing drills when nobody's watching. Trading is the same. It's not about clicking buttons and hoping you get lucky. It's about deliberate practice. Journaling every trade, reviewing your decision-making, asking yourself why you took that setup and what the market did in response. Most traders skip this part because it's not exciting. They take 5 random trades in the morning, lose money, and then the next day they make the exact same mistakes because they never took the time to actually look back and analyze what they were thinking. Price action is a language, and you don't learn a language in a day, or a week, or a month. You need screen time. You need repetition. For me, that means 30 minutes before market open, every single day, I'm doing the same thing. Identifying session highs and lows from Asia, London, and the New York morning session. I'm marking high probability liquidity levels. I'm not bouncing between different strategies or different timeframes. I'm focused on one thing, building conviction through repetition. And here's the part most people don't want to hear. Small improvements compound over time, but you won't see them if you're constantly looking at your P&L for validation. You have to fall in love with the process of improving, not the outcome of making money. Which brings me to the final reason, and this is the ultimate irony of trading. The more you care about the money, the less likely you are to make it. When you sit down in front of the market thinking, I need to make X amount today to justify my time, you've already lost. Because now you're making decisions based on desperation, rather than probability. You're forcing trades that aren't setups. You're holding losses longer than you should, because you can't accept being wrong. You're taking profits too early because you're terrified the market will take it back. All of that is happening because you're focused on the outcome instead of the process. And here's what you need to understand. Making money in trading has nothing to do with the actual act of trading. My decision to enter a trade has nothing to do with making money. It has to do with recognizing my system, recognizing my edge, and executing. That's it. So disconnect from the money entirely. Act as if you're already wealthy. Act as if you're already successful. Because the moment you stop needing the market to validate you is the moment you can finally see it clearly and make objective decisions based purely on your system. And that shift in mindset is what separates the traders who make it from the 90% who don't. But knowing these 5 reasons doesn't matter if you can't actually implement the changes, so let me show you the exact framework to escape this. The first thing you need to do is commit to one strategy and treat the market like it's teaching you a language. That means showing up every day with the same process. 30 minutes before open, identifying your session highs and lows, marking liquidity levels, and looking for your specific setups. No bouncing between methods. No chasing the next shiny object because someone posted a big win. Plant the seed, water it consistently, and stop ripping it out every time you hit a rough patch. So here's what just happened. You clicked on this video thinking you were failing because you hadn't found the right strategy yet. You thought one more course, one more indicator, one more setup would finally make everything click. But that was never the problem. The real issue is that 90% of traders are chasing the wrong metrics entirely, and it's keeping them trapped in a cycle they don't even realize they're in. You don't need more strategies. You need to understand that a real edge is something you build through data and repetition, not something you copy from someone else's Discord. You need to stop using your P&L as emotional validation and start measuring yourself by whether you followed your plan. You need to forgive your past mistakes and start at ground zero today, because profitability isn't a destination you climb toward. It's an identity you step into immediately by choosing to act like a professional right now. And most importantly, you need to disconnect from the money entirely and fall in love with the process of improving, because the irony of trading is that the more you care about making money, the less likely you are to make it. Trading isn't a lottery ticket. It's a skill that requires years of unglamorous work, journaling, reviewing, building conviction through repetition. And the moment you accept that and shift your focus from outcomes to habits is the moment everything changes. So ask yourself, are you treating this like a business or like a video game you can quit when it gets hard? Because only you control your outcome, and that's both the blessing and the curse of this. If this shifted how you see trading, let me know in the comments what your biggest struggle has been. And if you want tools that'd help you get out of the 90% failure stats and build systems that actually work, check out the links in the description below. But until next time, I'll see you in the next one.